On the fourth day of the Great War, the Kaurava army rose early to head to the battlefield. The elephants trumpeted, the horses neighed, and the sound of chariot wheels echoed through the air as the warriors blew their conches. Ganga led the charge, followed by Duryodhana and Balaka, while Arjuna took the lead for the Pandava forces. Seated together on their chariot, Sri Krishna and Arjuna shone brightly, like the sun and moon together in the sky. As the sun rose in the east, the two armies collided with a fierce clash, resulting in heavy losses on both sides. The battlefield soon became drenched in blood, scattered with broken limbs and the precious ornaments of fallen warriors. The epic describes the battlefield in vivid detail, painting a surreal and enchanting picture that has captivated people's minds throughout history. The poet described it as beautifully adorned, like a noble lady wearing exquisite jewelry and makeup, even amidst the chaos of blood and bones. Perhaps deep down, there is a mysterious pull towards war, similar to a moth drawn to a flame. A significant part of the Mahabharata focuses on the Great War, with numerous battles presented throughout the story. War is a recurring theme in the Mahabharata, and there's no escaping its importance in the tale. As the battle continued on the fourth day, Bhima emerged as the dominant figure. Abhimanyu launched an attack against him, and soon Duryodhana, Drona, Kripa, Somadatta, Salya, and Vibhamsati joined the fight. Abhimanyu bravely fought all 7 warriors. Arjuna quickly rushed to support Abhimanyu, and a fierce duel began between him and Bhima. Both sides paused their fighting to watch this significant clash between the two legendary heroes. After some time, the battle resumed. Arjuna managed to break Duryodhana's bow and brought down Salya's flag, overpowering the other warriors. Seeing Arjuna and Abhimanyu surrounded by a powerful group of Kaurava warriors, Drishtadyumna rushed to their aid. Kritavarma, Kripa, Asvatha, and Salya's son attacked Drishtadyumna. During the melee, Salya's son lost his chariot but bravely pressed on with his sword and shield. His valor impressed the Kaurava soldiers, who cheered as he skillfully countered Drishtadyumna's swift arrows. However, Drishtadyumna sent a powerful arrow that struck down Salya's son, severing his head. Remarkably, his body continued to advance a few steps with sword and shield still in hand before collapsing on the battlefield. Salya immediately turned to Drishtadyumna, and a fierce battle broke out. Noticing that Drishtadyumna was exhausted and struggling, Abhimanyu rushed to help him. Duryodhana sent his brothers Dharmuka, Dusaha, Salyavrata, Chitrasena, and others to assist Salya. Meanwhile, Nakula and Sahadeva joined Drishtadyumna, providing strong support against their uncle. The battle continued fiercely, with no clear victor in sight. In another part of the battlefield, Bhimasena targeted the elephant division of the Kaurava army, reveling in the chaos of battle. Bhima became a skilled warrior in battling the elephant troops and earned a reputation for it. Abhimanyu joined Bhima to help in the fight. Bhima charged forward on foot, swinging his famous mace, while Abhimanyu followed him in a chariot, taking down many elephants along the way. Magadha, who was in charge of the elephant division, confronted Abhimanyu while riding a fierce elephant. Abhimanyu quickly defeated him, killing him with his own elephant. That day, Bhima outdid himself, creating chaos among the mighty beasts. Some elephants lost their tusks, others their trunks, ears, or even eyes. The fierce elephants, unable to withstand the many injuries they suffered, began to retreat in panic. The once great assets of the Kaurava army became a disaster, trampling hundreds and thousands of soldiers underfoot. Duryodhana was distressed by the devastation caused by the stampede of the fleeing elephants and ordered a full-scale attack on Bhima. Duryodhana's 14 brothers, Sushena, Jalasanta, Sulachana, Bhima, Bhimaratha, Bhimabhao, Dushpradharsha, Dharmuka, Vivitsu, Alalupa, Vakata, Sama, and Ugra, charged at Bhima. After a fierce battle, Bhima managed to defeat them all and blew his conch in triumph. Duryodhana, upset by the loss of his brothers, attacked Bhima. Their encounter was intense, but eventually, Duryodhana shot a powerful arrow that struck Bhima in the chest, causing him to fall unconscious against the chariot's flagstaff. Ghatotkacha, witnessing his father's plight, rushed toward Duryodhana, filled with anger. He charged into the Kaurava army like a storm, wreaking havoc. Bhagadatta charged at Ghatotkacha on his famous elephant but was driven back. Ghatotkacha's rampage was incredible, and many said he fought even better than his father. Bhima, Drona, Vyasa, and Kripa quickly came to Duryodhana's aid, while Yudhishthira, Virata, and Drupada supported Ghatotkacha. Both sides faced heavy losses. As the sun began to set, Bhima turned to Drona and said, "It's time for sunset. Let's hold our ground until then. After dark, the Rakshasas will fight more fiercely and will be at a disadvantage. We need to end the battle today as soon as possible." The fighting ceased exactly at sunset, and both the Pandava and Kaurava forces returned to their camps. Bhima felt pleased that the day had come to a close. That day, the Kaurava army narrowly escaped destruction at the hands of Ghatotkacha. Duryodhana was deeply upset because he had lost 14 of his brothers in battle. Meanwhile, the Pandavas took care of Bhima, who had regained consciousness but had not fully recovered. Dhritarashtra turned to Sanjaya and said, "Every time you tell me these heartbreaking stories, you focus on the heavy losses of the Kauravas. The losses on the Pandava side seem very small. They don't seem afraid of Bhima, Drona, Salya, or Somadatta, even though they are outnumbered. Why are the Kauravas facing such continuous defeats?" Sanjaya replied, "I'm just a messenger. I can't create good news for you. I'm not a magician, nor do I have the power to change the outcome of the war. Vidura has already explained it to you. Even in war, moral strength is more powerful than sheer force. The Pandavas are backed by truth and justice." He added that Duryodhana had asked Bhima the same question after the day's fighting had ended and the truce was announced. Bhisma's response to Duryodhana was important. He told Duryodhana, "Fate is stronger than human effort. By now, you should see which way things are headed. I've advised you to seek peace with the Pandavas. It's not too late. You can still approach Sri Krishna with a sincere request. I'm sure Dhanaputra will accept peace." However, Duryodhana didn't want to hear this advice and ignored it. Dhritarashtra then burst into tears and said to Sanjaya, "The war is heading towards the complete destruction of the Kaurava army. It seems that divine will is stronger than human strength. Bhima, Drona, Kripa, Salya, Vyasa, and Bhagadatta are the strongest warriors on earth. Yet my sons are being killed by Bhima right before my eyes. What can we do?" Sanjaya replied, "People are blaming you. You should have acted sooner to prevent this war. The world is large enough for the Pandavas and Kauravas to rule their kingdoms peacefully. You ignored the wise advice of Bhima, Drona, Kripa, and Vidura. Why do you cry now? You've sown the wind, and now you must reap the whirlwind."